Hello YouTube, welcome to the corner of my room, as opposed to the rest of it, which is a complete mess, because I'm actually reorganizing all my stuff, because the desk hasn't been organized yet. You can see stuff is just all over the place. I'm organizing my closets so they look better. And as you can see, I've already started. You saw some of that in the previous video about that Pioneer. But I got stacked up receivers, DVD players, Nintendo 64, a random clock radio, a Tascam, digital Porta Studio 564 mixer that I want to use at some point, but I need to get all the cords and converters and stuff to make use of it, which I don't have yet, so that remains to be seen. It will be going in the setup I'm talking about in this video. But essentially, I'm just reorganizing, and while I'm reorganizing, when I was at Goodwill, I picked up a $6 TV cart. As you can now see, I'm using a desk lamp as lighting. Ain't that nice? I picked up this TV cart, and when I was at the store, I was looking at it like, I could make a workstation out of this. And so I decided to. As you can see, I'm installing Windows XP on the computer behind here, which is a Dell Dimension 2350. Which has 1 gig of DDR400 RAM in it. It has a 2.2 gigahertz Pentium 4, no hyperthreading. It's socket 478. And I put a brand new DVD burner in it, a 250 gigabyte hard drive. The 40 gig is still in there, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the 40 gig yet. I got to figure out whether I have a bad IDE cable or not. But anyway. Yeah, the computer's no workhorse, but you don't need an i7 to convert audio and video to CD and DVD. And the cards I put in it, I put an AverMedia TV tuner card in it, which has a PVR 150 chip on it, which is one of the best out there. It has hardware-level MPEG-2 encoding. I got a Netgear wireless card in it, so that I can transfer files to my file server if I have to. What else is in there? Oh yeah, I have a Turtle Beach sound card. V Westlife showed a Turtle Beach sound card in one video that has an Ariel Vortex 2 chip on it. Those sound cards are they're ancient, but they sound really good. And they work in Windows XP, which is the good part. Now, my friend Troy mentioned that the very idea of this is it's basically a Red Deck workstation. That's essentially what it is, and I decided to kind of extend on that idea a little bit by putting in, you guys from TeamSpeak will know what this is, the infamous People PC keyboard. Oh, People PC. Ford Motor Company. People PC. Lol, what? But the keyboard is made by HP. It's the most randomly branded keyboard I've ever seen in my life. And typing on it is just like, yeah. It sounds like crap because it feels like crap. I have a mouse pad here and a Microsoft mouse that came with a Gateway computer. It's a IntelliMouse. It's just a regular ass IntelliMouse. It's good enough for this. It works, as you can see. Well, kind of see. But there you have it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just making this a workstation for transferring audio and video. Because I do make a little bit of money on the side doing that. And I've gone back to the 80s with a rack of just equipment here. Down here on the bottom I've got a Zenith VCR, a very old one from probably the late 80s. It's got a vacuum fluorescent, it looks like a vacuum fluorescent display there. Is it vacuum fluorescent? Yeah, it is. It's very, very old. Except it's got all these very specific adjustments in it, which is really nice. You can adjust the picture sharpness on the fly, and as well as the tracking. You can do TV or KTV, aux or tuner. The source selection is actually a manual switch. That's awesome. I picked this up at the thrift store as well for about $4, and it works, so that was a good deal. And I bought this because it will help transfer the older tapes that were not recorded in hi-fi. Like some of the like even VHSCs will probably play better in that than on the one above it, which is just a random newer Sony VCR, which is what I've been using in the past. And how I have this hooked up, this is a mono VCR. I have this VCR hooked into the line input of this VCR. So I have to run this one through that one to get it into the computer. It's kind of a jerry-rig, but it works. Above that, I have audio equipment. A Technics RSB50. One of the best cassette decks I've ever owned. Mainly because of all the Dolby features on it. It's got Dolby B, C, and DBX for tape and disc. And of course, one person might know what I'm referring to here, but no Dolby, no problem. There's an out button as well. Lol. This is my favorite cassette deck, and for Dolby tapes that I transfer, I'm going to be using Dolby C, so they'll sound extremely good. Above that, I have the Bang & Olufsen Beogram 3300, because it has the best cartridge of any of the ones that I have in it. It sounds the best. And it stays open when you do that, which is kind of nice. As you can see, I have a record in there, because I also have a sound system hooked up as the monitor for the audio stuff. And that is the Sansui 350A, as well as the 8-track player, so I can transfer 8 tracks. I have a video source selector here, which I'm using for audio, and two silver realistic Minimus 7s. And this functions as the monitor for the sound output of all the audio equipment that I'm using. Really? Move, you stupid cord. Alright. So I'll turn that on. And it's on. Yay, scratchy volume knob. Japanese potentiometers. Herp derp. But it's on phono right now. I'll just demonstrate how this setup works. I have the tape out from the Sansui going into the input of the sound card. And the reason I'm using the Sansui to do that is because the equalizers in Sansuis are well known, at least a lot of the 70s ones, are known for having very good RIAA equalization. Very, very good phono sections on these Sansuis. And Marantzas also have extremely good phono sections, so if you're going to transfer stuff and you happen to have one of these receivers lying around, use the tape out, because it will sound extremely good. And this I'm using as the preamp, essentially, at least for that Bang & Olufsen down there. And the great part about this is I can actually listen to the record or tape as I'm transferring it, so there's no real, I don't have to do software monitoring, which is it's on the built-in speakers on this monitor, which sound like crap. So this is a much better monitor. Now I'll start the record up, just so you can hear the whole thing. There you have it. That's basically how it would work. I'd start the record, it'd be playing through the stereo, but it would also be taping out to the computer right there. Now, the operating systems I'm going to be using to do this are Windows XP and Linux of some sort. Windows XP, because it has direct sound, one of the best, it has its direct sound, which is, Windows XP has one of the best sound systems out of any operating system I've ever used. It sounds the best out of any of them. Windows Vista and 7 pale in comparison to XP's sound system. At least the way it sounds and the way it processes the audio. Linux has ALSA, and ALSA does a very, 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 very good job with sound as well, since it can do a full-on hardware acceleration of certain sound cards, as well as Windows XP. The Linux I'm going to use, I haven't decided on yet. I'm going to have to experiment with it. It'll either be, it could be one of a couple. It could be Ubuntu. It could be Ubuntu 10. It could be Ubuntu with some of the Ubuntu Studio software installed on top of it, like Ardor and Jack and stuff like that. It could also be Debian with the same software, or it could be Arch Linux. I'm leaning towards Debian at this point because Debian seems like the best solution due to the fact that you have the Debian multimedia repos, which have a lot of useful software in there. So, yeah, and then on Windows XP, I'd be using Nero 7 for the DVD and sometimes the audio works. Because the Nero sound editor has the best filter for 78s I've ever used in my life. But to record the audio, I'd probably be using Nero the Nero sound editing program, or I'd be using Adobe Audition 1.5, because both those do a pretty good job. I mean, Adobe Audition has very, very good processing stuff in it for like getting noise out of records and things like that. And especially for the 8 tracks, it could probably help with the sound of the 8 tracks. So that's eventually going to be the setup. I'll make another video of it once I have the whole thing in work in order. Right now, obviously, I'm just installing the software, but I don't even have the mixer out here yet. I don't even know if I'm going to incorporate that or not. I don't think I'm going to need it, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to save the mixer for like an actual like music recording studio sort of setup. But yeah, this is just a little redneck studio here. Well, so yeah, there you have it. That's what's going to happen with this machine, and I'll make videos of it as the thing progresses. And this is just a little project I thought I just had an idea for at Goodwill one day. So, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.